And welcome to the CSS podcast. I am your host, Dave Wolfers. The gentleman in the middle is Charlie Crawley. The gentleman on your right, my left, is Sam Wolfers. Today's a big day for us. It's episode number 100. So, yes, congratulations to us. Congratulations for us being able to go 2 years here with our episodes here talking Reds and Bengals. And, last 2 years we've had some dry spells with Cincinnati sports. So hopefully the next 100 episodes we'll be able to talk a lot about the successes that the Bengals and the Reds and FC Cincinnati and the Bearcats and the Muskies all have here in the next 2 years for you. But we do want to thank you, our loyal listeners, and everybody who popped on and listening to us via podcast or popping on live at YouTube. And if you don't know, we do go live at 7:30 on Sunday night. So if you want to pop in and give some comments, say hi to us, we'd love to have you swing by the show. So with that, before we get started, gentlemen, how was your week?
Oh, not bad. Can't complain.
Yeah, it was good. We started back to school and changes, I have to be back being an adult again, and which isn't always the most fun, but it was okay. Got through it. So
yeah, that is good. And we've got a 5-day week and then 4-day week. So that's always good. So let's go ahead and start. This past Friday, we didn't even mention it last week, and it sort of snuck up on us just like the school year. But high school football and college football, high school football week 1, college football week 0, they're in the books. Any thoughts, takeaways? Greater Cincinnati, I guess the marquee game, Lakota West versus St. X. Lakota West won that one. And then Moeller beating Princeton. Those were the two, marquee games here in Cincinnati. Week 0, Florida State losing. I think the committee, I was one that the committee, I was hoping that they would stick Florida State in, going undefeated ACC champ. But, Jordan Travis meant the world to that program, and you could see not having him there in being a quarterback, you get the results. So thoughts of week 1 and week 0, gentlemen?
I didn't follow any high school football, so I don't really have too many thoughts there. You said Finneytown lost, so that's a bummer, I guess. But as far as week 0, it's Georgia Tech pulled off the upset. Kind of figured Florida State wasn't going to be as good as their preseason ranking indicated. They just don't have the quarterback play. I know DJ was a big time recruit, but we saw it at Clemson. He just can't throw. And if you can't throw at that level, you're just not going to be a very good quarterback. So I think that's going to hurt Florida State. Luckily for them, it's a 12-team playoff. They've got, probably still have another loss, honestly, because they're going to be in the ACC. It's not the end of the world for them, but they're going to have to figure out a different way, I think, to run their offense if they want to be successful.
Nope.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but that game, the Florida State Georgia Tech game, but it does again, like every year, it shows you the pointlessness of preseason rankings in college football. There should be no preseason rankings. Just let them play for 3 or 4 weeks, and heck, at this point, let them play until they get to the playoff.
The playoff ranking, yeah.
They come out with the playoff rankings. Who cares about any of those other rankings? So, Georgia Tech was the better team from what I read about and saw about it. They had their quarterback coming back, and they were pretty good. A lot better by the end of last season. So I saw several people picking Georgia Tech, even though Florida State was favored. So maybe Georgia Tech will be a surprise team. With the 12-team playoff, there's going to be some surprise teams. ACC is going to get obviously one, will they get a second team in? I guess we'll see. But who knows? I think the ACC is kind of up in, who knows? It's kind of like the Big 12. I think it's just kind of, there's a bunch of teams that could come out of that and win that league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, week 1 starts for real, I guess, the real games, if you want to say it. And then
there's a lot of games this Thursday too.
There is. So I don't know, thoughts on UC? I know they named their quarterback, kid from IU, the transfer in.
Expected.
Yep, expected. Yeah. I don't know, 6-6 again, do you think, or do they need to take a bigger step than that?
I think that's the minimum is 6-6. That's where we wanted them last year, and then to make an improvement off of that. Mm-hmm. But I think 6-6, that would double their win total. They won 3 games last year. I think that's where you have to be, especially if you're Scott Satterfield. If you don't want to be on the hot seat, I think you've got to get to 500 and get to a bowl game. I know bowl games don't really mean anything anymore, but that 500 mark, I think, is where you have to be to continue to build. Otherwise, you're just going to be seen as a worse school to go to. It's going to be tougher for you to get recruits. So I think that is the important number to get to.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say 6-6 is the floor. If things break right, in the Big 12, just because of it's, every team's is kind of in the spin cycle and who's going to come out of there. I think if everything breaks right, you go 8-4, which would be great. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably settle at 7. But with the idea that they should win their first 3 games. Sorry, Miami.
I don't know.
Pitt, who knows about Pitt? They were so bad last year. They were worse than UC last year. But they revamped their offense, I guess, brought in like doing air raid now instead of trying to run the ball a lot. So, but I'm expecting still a win there. So if you get 3 wins to start out with, then you only got to win 3 games in the league to get to 6. So it should, in theory, should not be tremendously difficult. 4 games to get to 7. So, reading, listening to a bunch of stuff, and they've upgraded every unit. Their defensive line is the biggest question because of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 3 of their top 4 guys are not playing right. 2 of the guys are out for the season for sure. And then the Godfather, Corleone, is got that blood, the blood clot going on thing. He's practicing, but he hasn't touched anybody yet. He's not allowed to do contact. So if he's not there, you've lost three of your best defensive linemen. So that can be tough because the Big 12 likes to run the ball. They've changed over from a few years ago when they used to be every game was like 60 to 52, whatever. Now they don't. Now they're running the ball a lot. So that could be an issue. But we'll see. Quarterback, I think it was pretty much a given. He had to have a terrible camp in order not to win the job. Sorsby. So it can't be worse than last year in terms of that part of it.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, you got a returning offensive line. So, they got some pieces there, but they also rely on a lot of transfers, which I guess they're probably not the only team. Colorado is basically 97% transfers. Hell, Colorado has like double transfers, guys that have transferred in and out twice, in terms of there. So, the UC guy that went to Colorado, the tight end that started for him last year, he's already transferred out to some other schools. So, I'm hoping they go 2-12 or whatever. So,
I saw this on Twitter, I think it was, or they had a chart of like the top games or the highest priced tickets for college football this year as of right now. And I think number like 16 or 17 out of the top 20 was UC Colorado at like $302 a ticket. So that's the average. Yeah. So, I was like, what? Who wants to go see UC in Colorado?
Out there, they still want to see Dion. So,
well, I guess so, but.
Well, I had a chance to get I had a chance to apply to get the UC Colorado tickets. And there was an email we got that halfway through that process that said, if you want to apply for the Colorado tickets, you have to do it now. Like you cannot wait till the deadline. If you wait till the deadline, so you're not going to get them. So there is a massive demand. I think there's a lot of people going to go out there.
Go out there from Cincinnati, yeah.
Well,
all right. So let's flip our thoughts here from the Mountain West to sunny Miami Beach and talk a little bit about FC Cincinnati. Disappointing. Went down to Miami, lost 2-0. I didn't have a chance to read anything about the game or watch anything. So I'm going to leave it to my soccer experts here. Did Messi play, first of all? And then second, what happened?
No, Messi did not play. He was out injured. But somehow, against league rules, Luis Suarez was able to play. He missed the All-Star game out injured, which by rule, your next MLS game, you can't play. Like that's the incentive, right? You got to play the All-Star game so you don't miss the game. But somehow, some way, he was allowed to play, where no other player in the past, if they were selected to the All-Star game and then missed it due to injury, were they allowed to play the next MLS game. But for some reason, the Miami team is allowed to, bend the rules and get their guys to play. And Suarez, I believe he scored both goals for Miami. So, I mean, that's that. He also probably should have had a red card, which he didn't get because the referee was, but that's MLS. MLS referees just in general suck. So I'm not going to, no conspiracy there. That's just general incompetence by them. But the fact that he was even allowed to play just doesn't sit right with me. They're just making stuff up as they go along for this Miami team. And it's frustrating because Acosta was injured, but he made sure he played in the All-Star game so that he wouldn't have to miss the next MLS game, even though he's injured, probably further injured him. And then you had Pat Noonan, who was, for some reason, retroactively suspended an additional game, last week or 2 weeks ago, for something that happened almost a month ago at this point. So he wasn't even able to manage this game. So, it's just, it is what it is. You kind of knew it was going to happen. I told you guys at the start of the season how it was going to play out. And it's only furthering, the proof of that. So. But the actual game, FCC was actually probably the better team in terms of possession, shots, shot attempts, shots on goal. But Miami was able to score the 2 goals because, one of the best players in the world was allowed to play when he shouldn't have been.
Anything to add, Crowley?
No, it's not surprising with the Miami situation. They've gone outside league rules all season, but they're given the exceptions. They couldn't do it if the league wouldn't let them do it. So the league's letting them do it. So it's not all Miami.
That's because the league and Messi with Apple TV right there, baby. It's all about the money. Follow the money.
Messi is a part owner of the league, so
right.
whatever he wants, whenever he wants, is what's going to happen. So
that's not a conflict of interest or anything.
It's pretty pitiful though. Come on. For one, MLS isn't a good enough. If Messi never came to MLS, if he didn't happen, MLS is still surviving. They're still expanding teams. All that was happening without Messi. So it's pretty ridiculous. It'd be different if it was, the league was 25 years ago and, and some European player came over and basically saved the league. The league was going to fold if this guy didn't come over. That's not happening, Messi or not. So it's one of the worst money plays that there's ever been to me in professional, if so-called professional big time sports.
I think
MLS is showing it's not that big time then.
Right.
No, it's not. And you kind of see the sporting culture here, even lower levels, in Europe and South America, that this stuff wouldn't fly. There would be literal riots, right now, if a league tried to do that in favor of one team over another. There was just talk of a super league, and fans were basically burning down stadiums.
Wow. Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't fly anywhere else, but for some reason, when you're the 5th, 6th most popular league here, you can kind of get away with it because it's going to go under the radar. It's not going to be reported on outside of MLS circles. Nobody's going to actually talk about it, and they can just say, "Well, we're growing the game," and I'd argue they're not really growing the game because as soon as Messi and them retire, what did you actually capitalize on? Nothing. All these Argentinian fans are going to cancel their subscriptions to Apple TV anyways. So, they're not growing the game. They're just doing a quick cash grab, which, I mean, shocker there that American Sports League is going after a cash grab. So
yeah, imagine that, right? I mean, look at college football, right? We just talked about that, and ESPN and yeah, but follow the money.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so weird because this stuff doesn't happen anywhere else because fans don't allow it to happen. But for some reason, we're perfectly fine getting raked over the coals for our dollar. It's crazy to me.
Well, because we want to watch the games on TV, and
They do too.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. But speaking about following the money, let's head to the Bengals news. We've got a couple of things we're going to be doing in this segment, and then we will revisit the Bengals win-loss predictions and our topic of the week. But for the week that was, let's talk Bengals last preseason game. Some positives, some negatives, but overall, we escaped without too many injuries. But Miles Murphy, went down in a practice, so that kind of hurts. 4 to 6 weeks is what the timetable probably will be. Good news is Chase practiced today, and that's what we said has to happen. He's got to at least get at least 1 weekend with Burrow and the first team, so that way they're all on the same page. Don't know what happened, if they're real close to signing him an extension, or if he just said, well, I better get a weekend before games actually start. I don't know. So thoughts on the preseason, injuries, and Chase's situation?
I'd say I'd give the Bengals like an A for health issues. From the preseason. Miles Murphy, who's a backup defensive lineman, is your biggest loss. That's pretty good for a preseason, getting through it. Yep. The other losses were guys who are, like, what's his name, the running back, Evans. I didn't even realize he was on the team anymore. So Mims is probably your, is to me a bigger loss because he might have been your starting right tackle at this point, because Trent Brown is, that guy, he might be rolling around in a wheelchair out there trying to play at some point. So, he's, I'm not counting on him at all. So I think the Mims loss is, but supposedly it's not that bad, and he might only miss a few weeks of the season and stuff, and that kind of thing. So I think health-wise they're pretty good coming in, especially, and then with the Chase situation, as I said, like even if he comes in, if he practices less than a week, he's getting injured in the first week or two.
Right.
So I'm hoping that is not the case, that he is really back today and he'll be with them, whatever the reason is, whether they signed him or whether he just said, I realize I'm not going to win this battle and I'm not sitting out for the whole season. So,
right.
Again, what advantage do you get for sitting out the first 2 games, or get first game, lose a paycheck and still not have your contract extension? That's what I couldn't figure out, is like, what's the play there? To miss the first week or 2 and then come back and still not having a contract, but now I'm missing, whatever of my salary, because the Bengals don't play, man. They will not give him that money. So
no, they will not.
He then showing up to that first game, Mike Brown will personally burn that check that he was supposed to send to him. So
instead of Jamar Chase, it'll go right back to Mike Brown.
Right. Yeah, we buy himself another new car or whatever.
Right.
So overall, I'm happy the Bengals. I wish they would have played him a little bit more, but Burrow played a series or whatever it was in the preseason. That's more than they had before. The first teamers did play a little bit more. I still wish they would play more than that, but better than they did. And I think we're probably about as good a position as we can be moving into the regular season.
Sam?
Yeah, I was a little more optimistic on Miles Murphy making a jump. Kind of, I guess, more wishful thinking. So it's a little bit of a damper that he's going to miss a couple weeks here. It's good. It's nothing major, but I think he was the guy that needed to make a jump. I mean, it's good Chase is back practicing. He's going to have 2 weeks now before week 1. I think that'll be plenty of time for him just to get in rhythm, get up to as much at game speed as you can possibly get for not actually playing in a game in the preseason. Yeah, I mean, we did kind of we did get pretty lucky on the injury front. We didn't really, no big time starters are going to miss any time week 1 as of right now. Let's hope to keep it that way. Joe Burrow got through a healthy training camp for the first time in his career, so that's huge. Yeah, I mean, it's all things are looking, pretty good to start off fast this season and not get off to a 2-3, 2-4 type of start. So,
yeah, that is key. The quick start, and I know Burrow on Thursday night, I guess he said that he would have liked to play it a little bit in this game against the Colts, but he understood. Just one last time to get out there before the real stuff flies. The injury, my concern with the Miles Murphy is Sample, the other defensive end, is out, and Murphy would have, saw some more action right away earlier. And,
Osai will have to step up. I wouldn't be surprised if they go and try and find somebody who gets cut too.
Well, yeah. And speaking of getting cut, Tuesday's the deadline. There's still 22 guys away from their roster that they needed. So here in the next day and a half, they got some tough decisions to make. And, we'll be carrying that as well. We'll be watching that and watching the waiver wires, see if they pick up anybody at all. So
I think they're going to be looking for a right tackle.
Yeah, I think so too. Either depth piece or.
Well, I mean, you have to, because Trent Brown will play in 7 games this year, and just have to see with Mims, So yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have somebody else that can do that, fill in that position. That they just have to be better than Jackson Carman, I guess, is the benchmark, right? So
I guess. But yeah,
in theory, it shouldn't be too hard for somebody to come in and do that. But
shouldn't be, but you never know. Never know. All right, Crawley, you wanna do our preseason awards predictions now, or do you want to wait? Since there's still 22 guys that need to be cut.
Those guys. We're not picking any of those guys to be in any of these awards.
You never know. You never know. There might be that sleeper, that we were saying.
The backup punter that's going to be cut in anytime soon. So
yeah. So
no. I think you can pretty much know who's going to be on the 53. I mean, if they're the 53rd guy, like Jackson Kirtland and the new Jackson offensive lineman, you're not picking him for one of your positions either. So
all right, let's do it then. Are you going to keep tallies for us?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, since you've got everything right there.
Okay. So our first one is the Icky Shuffle Newcomer of the Year.
All right, I'm going to go with Jermaine Burton.
I mean, he's going to be on the practice squad for the first
Jermaine
time.
Burton?
I don't think he's going to get too many reps. I really don't.
You don't?
I really don't, no.
The Bengals do not like him. They like his physical ability, but
really?
Al Michaels is on there saying he's falling asleep and stuff. So
yeah, that was at Alabama. He fell asleep.
No. The rumor is that he's falling asleep during Bengals meetings. That's why Burton is getting like 5 reps in these preseason games. Yeah.
And the Bengals, they're going to prove a point.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But that goes totally against the culture. So
yeah.
I'm still going with Burton.
I think physically, he's better than a 3rd round pick. From the standpoint of what he can do on the field. First round pick probably. So
that's who I'm going with. So there you go.
Okay. So Burton.
Yep.
I'm between two guys. I think I'm going to go with Mims. I think once he gets healthy, they're going to put him in and he's going to be the starter. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen really any updates. Are they thinking week 1 or are they thinking later still?
Thank you.
I know when it happened, they were saying 4 to 6 weeks. So 4 weeks would kind of put him at week 1.
Right.
But I don't know.
I'm guessing they'll be
I still think
cautious
it's
with
going
him.
to be him. I think when the season's said and done, he's got a chance to be our best offensive lineman. So I'm going with Mims.
Okay. I went with I didn't go with a rookie. I don't think the Bengals like rookies. So I went with Sheldon Rankins. I think he's going to be the most important new addition to the team. So, I mean, he's got to hold the defensive line down, upgrade the line. So I went with him. I think the defense is going to go the way of Sheldon Rankins. If he can step up and be the defensive lineman they paid him to be, they got a shot. If he's not, then it's going to be like last year where they were like Swiss cheese in terms of running the ball. So I went with Rankins.
All right.
Yeah. Another good one I think would be Geno Stone
or Von Bell again.
Yeah,
So,
Von Bell. Yeah, coming back.
If we're going with, just newcomer, not like newbies. So
yeah.
All right.
Next is Ken Anderson should be in the Hall of Fame Offensive Player of the Year, not named Burrow.
Not named Burrow. I think you still have to go with Chase. I think he's the most dynamic player, not only on the Bengals, but maybe in the NFL, definitely in the division. So he's definitely the kind of key to our offense outside of Burrow. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over 1,500 yards, 100 catches, 12 touchdowns, type season, where he's actually in consideration for the NFL Offensive Player of the Year.
I like your train of thought, but this is a contract year for T. Higgins. And I think, as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to put up some big time numbers because he wants to get paid. And he wants to get paid as a number one. And, if he drops some balls like he did towards the end of the year and, got injured, he won't do it. So, that's who I was leaning. That's who I'm leaning towards. That's who I'm going to say. I'll wait till Crawley gives you one, and then I'll tell you.
I actually went with Higgins as well for the exact same reason. I think with Chase missing, the whole preseason part of the year, and in terms of it's giving Higgins a chance to be kind of the number one. It's giving him and Burrow a lot more time to work together. And Burrow is all about trust, and that's the other issue with Burton. They're saying is Burrow does not trust him yet, so that's why the Crocodile Hunter still somehow is like their third receiver because he'll at least be where he's supposed to be, and he'll
make the plays. Yep, he will.
So
Crocodile Hunter.
I'm going to go Higgins for this.
I almost went Gesicki. I almost went Mike Gesicki because I think
he should have a good year.
He should, but
good. I think he's going to end up being the best tight end Burrow's played with, I think.
Yep, as long as Culture Club allows him to be utilized as a receiving tight end, not just an outlet.
Right.
Eric All, he's rookie. He might make some noise
I
too.
think that's why they signed Gesicki, because I think he's going to get a lot of action in the slot, not necessarily even as a tight end. I think.
Yeah, I hope.
Hillman
Chase in the slot would really work well. All right, next.
Okay, next is the Ken Riley is now in the Hall of Fame Defensive Player of the Year award. I'll go first on this one.
Yep.
I'm going Cam Taylor-Britt. It's time for him to. He kind of has to be the number one cornerback, and it's time for him to step up and do that. He's shown that he can in short spurts last year, even in his rookie year, he was better than anticipated. So now it's the time in your third year. There's no excuses. It's time to be that taking the number one guy and doing your best you can to shutting him down.
I like that. But I'm going to go Trey Hendrickson just because I think we have to get pass rush, right? And if
he's our pass rush.
He is our pass rusher right now. With Miles Murphy out and Hubbard, God love Hubbard, but he doesn't sack the quarterbacks unless they are, stepping up in the pocket and he slides off, right? So
I was going to say I had a broken leg.
Yeah, right. So I've got to go with we have to get pass rush. So if you think Rankins is the newcomer of the year, man, if you get Rankins and Trey putting up 18 sacks a year, I think that will allow CTB and Gino and everybody else to have great secondary play.
Yeah, I like both of those picks. I'll go in a different direction just for the sake of it. I'm going to go with Logan Wilson.
I thought maybe you were going to say Pratt because he needs to make a damn tackle.
I'm going to go back to Logan Wilson because I think he's the better of the two linebackers. And if you look at defensive units last year, I think those two were the worst on the team in terms of guys that we were expecting the most out of. Both of them were awful. I think Wilson's more likely to be the guy that rebounds and steps up. And he's going to have to. He's just going to have to. Because, that's part of the run defense, too, is, the linebackers coming in and, cleaning up when the defensive tackles are getting double teams. The linebackers got to, come in and stuff the run. With Derrick Henry now in the division, we're going to see him twice. I think, Logan Wilson's he's going to have to step up. If he's even only a little bit better than last year, that's still not going to be good enough. He's got to be like he was in 2021.
Right. Logan and Pratt has to step up big time. He has to tackle. He can't just go for the ball every freaking time. Because if that happens, I would not be surprised if you see that rookie. I can't even pronounce his name. He's been all over the field, and they are loving him now. In Lou's defense, you've got a lot of responsibilities. So, and he doesn't like to play rookies. So, we got to pump the brakes on him. But so Jermaine Pratt, you need to step up too. Okay. Next one, Carly.
I think Pratt's on notice. I really do.
I hope.
Okay, next is the Tim McCormick most underrated player of the year.
Offense, right? Or just
it can be
just anybody.
Yep.
I think I'm still going to stick with offense. I'm going to go with Chase Brown. I think his touches are going to be limited, but I think he's going to be extremely explosive when he does, especially in the pass game out of the backfield. The screen pass that he took against Indianapolis last year, I think we can expect to see a handful more of those. I think he's going to be real explosive. I think Moss will be more of the bell cow, I guess, if you will, in terms of the running game. But I think out of the backfield, the pass catching game, Chase Brown is going to be huge. But I think he's going to be a little underrated just because the attempts won't necessarily be there.
Crawley, who do you got?
I have Andre Yoshavash. I think he's going to I'm hoping he supplants the Crocodile Hunter as your true number 3 receiver because he's just so much better in terms of talent. So that's my hope is he'll become the solid number 3. I know Burrow trust him. He was throwing to him even early last season, and the guy didn't even know what he was doing on the field. So he's like the anti-Irwin, but he's had a great preseason. But there's not. I don't just mean the games. I mean the camp and everything. They're saying he's had a really good camp. He's definitely bypassed Charlie Jones as your, in terms of the pecking order of the receivers. So I think he slots into your, I'm hoping he slots into your 3rd receiver and has a pretty good year.
Yeah, I was going to go with Zach Carter, but here on this one,
I was going to say you should.
I should.
You kind of have to.
I should, but I'm going to go
the 6th defensive lineman.
I'm going to say I'm still going to stay in the trenches. I'm going to the other side of the ball. I'm going to go, the center, Ted Karras. I think he is so
Selling
underrated.
Cincy hats.
Yeah, selling Cincy hats and what he does for the community. God bless him. But I think he's just an underrated leader in the clubhouse, and especially on that line, making the calls and just gelling, getting everybody to gel together. I know we focus a lot on the tackles, but I think you need a good center, and I think he's underrated in my opinion. The sad thing, talking about centers, Creed Humphreys went 63, I think it was, to Kansas City, and we drafted Jackson Carman, 40 something.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Yep.
Ooh, ouch.
Our drafting of offensive linemen is, we could say that with pretty much every offensive lineman we drafted for the last decade, or if not more. So.
Yes.
So.
All right. Any more?
I've not heard one thing, not exactly like I've been following Cardinals preseason football, but what's his name starting?
I saw something literally last
Jonah
week.
Williams.
Curious,
Jonah Williams.
and he's kind of getting ripped apart by the beat writers anyways. So he's not had a good camp.
Because he's not all that good, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Next one is the we'll come back to the core players.
Okay.
The Joe Burrow best draft pick of the year.
I got to pull up the draft.
I can go if you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is where I put Mims. I think he's going to
Yeah.
take over the right tackle spot, as soon as he's healthy and gets some practice under his belt. Trent Brown, I don't think's the answer.
I don't think he wants to be the answer.
I don't think he really cares. I don't think he's really wants to play football that much. So I think he's ready to go and sit on a beach and have some daiquiris and whatever. So I hope it's Mims, because we're going to need him, I think, to take over, because I'm not relying on no Trent Brown to protect Joe Burrow. So
I'm going to go with the mutant, Chris Jenkins, out of Michigan, nose tackle. We need that. We need somebody to develop here on the line. Somebody who we've drafted. So hopefully he can turn into that stellar player that he was in Michigan, run stopper, and then get up the field and put pressure up the middle, especially on Mahomes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's who I was going to go with as well, Chris Jenkins. I think, pairing him next to Rankins, and he'll probably rotate with BJ Hill, I'd assume.
Mm-hmm.
So snaps will be a little bit more limited than what you would normally see, I think, out of a second-round pick. But I think he's still going to have a huge impact, and hopefully, in a positive way, at least shoring up the run defense a little bit is kind of my main thing I want from him.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, the Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson, biggest concern of the year.
I think cornerback number 2, whoever's opposite Cam Taylor-Britt. I think that is our biggest concern. I know the run game was all last year, but I think cornerback number 2. That's who I'm going with.
Yeah, I think so too. As if you go the starting route, I'm still concerned about our offensive line depth. If we get 1 or 2 injuries there, I think that's our biggest weakness. But in terms of starting, I would say I would definitely say cornerback 2, and Jermaine Pratt.
And Logan Wilson
I was going to say, which one we going with? You gave me 3. Which one am I going with? So
I'm going to go. I'm going
offensive line depth.
Well, cornerback number 2.
Cornerback
number 2. Okay, because I wrote down offensive line depth first. Okay, I'm going. I already mentioned this a little bit. By far, my biggest concern is the defensive line. Both run defense and pressure outside of Hendrickson. You guys even said it, Dave. The only person that we have confidence that can pressure the quarterback is Hendrickson. That's not good enough in the NFL.
Nope.
for a good defense. And last year showed it. I mean, Hubbard cannot pressure the quarterback consistently enough. Miles Murphy's hurt. Joseph Asai has been in the witness protection program since he got injured 2 years ago. That's all you're relying on. Sheldon Rankins is an interior defensive lineman. So, that to me is far and away the biggest concern for the Bengals right now. And the rush defense was terrible last year, and they lost their best run defender. So I think that's 1, 2. That's the top 5 biggest concerns for me.
Yeah.
And then I get to the other ones, number 6 and 7. So
sounds good. All right, and last one.
Last one is the 4 core players, kind of like the Mount Rushmore of the current team on the roster. Who do you put on that?
Burrow, obviously Chase. I'd say Trey, and then CTB. I mean, those to me, those are the four horsemen.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I want to put Mims there, but I don't want to say him until we've actually seen some games. I think he can play his way into one of those spots. But as of right now, core 4 moving forward, and for the next couple of years, I think it's the same 4.
I have 3 of the same. I have Burrow, Chase, and Taylor Britt. My concern with Hendrickson is I think he's on the downside. I think he's going to be gone. I think this is it for him this year. He's already had the rumblings, I want to be traded, and I might sit out and all that stuff. I think this is it for him. So I put I'd love it to be Miles Murphy, for him to step up, but we just didn't know. Same thing with Mim, we don't know. So I put a guy who I know they love, and he's going to be here, and he was not very good last year, but I think he's going to be here still for a while. It's Logan Wilson. So he's my number 4.
Yep. All right. Good. All right. So let's move on to the negativity. Cincinnati Reds here. Today was a heartbreaker. Could have had a winning road trip, but instead,
the whole season's been a heartbreaker.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has been. But instead, we blow two leads in Pittsburgh. We take two of what was it? We took 2 out of 3 in Toronto. A little disappointed. Votto didn't play. Announced his retirement. We'll get on that here in a second. Showed up at the ballpark. Reds rallied and kicked some butt there. But then they go into Pittsburgh, and Paul Skeens does his thing, shuts us down. Lodolo implodes in the 4th. Marte has a bonehead play, and then Lodolo just implodes. Next night, we're up 5-0, and then next thing you know, it's 6-5. We lose. Following night, we have we break out 10. Bullpen game. Buck Farmer starts for us. 10 runs, and then today, right? We came back, scored, got 3 runs, took the lead 3-2. Had an opportunity in the 7th to add on, but we couldn't get a hit with the bases loaded. And Grandal, comes up and smashes a game-winning home run off of Alexis Diaz, and here we are.
I think Diaz still thinks that's a pop fly. So
yeah, he might, but
did you point up? My God, it's right there.
Yep.
So I didn't watch any of the games this weekend. I was down at my mom's, and she doesn't have cable, and I don't want to have to try to get Bally Sports loaded because they're a pain in the butt
for this team. So
no, it's not. Yeah. It's a pain in the butt. So I do blame David Bell again for a loss. But it's really we're at this point in the year where it's maybe they will lead off the show because, FC Cincinnati might have some more meaningful games. And obviously we'll be talking the Bengals. So we'll probably put the Reds first just because we want to get them out of the way and not really discuss the heartbreak that was Cincinnati Reds baseball this year. So thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing we've seen all season. They, take 2 out of 3 in Toronto and then lose 3 out of 4 in Pittsburgh. And whoever they play on Monday, they're going to take 2 out of 3 probably. And then,
they're off Monday.
Okay, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oakland. They got Oakland.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get swept by Oakland. Honestly,
and then Milwaukee.
And then they'll take 2 out of 3 against
4.
Milwaukee for 4. Take 3 out of 4 against Milwaukee, and they'll just kind of keep playing.
Wait a minute. No, they're not going to take 3 out of 4 from Milwaukee.
Okay, right.
Come on. Yeah, but if they do that, then I'm jumping back on the bandwagon. I'm sorry. I am going to jump back on the bandwagon.
They're going to play around 500 baseball for the rest of the season. They're not going to call anybody up that we'd want to see. They're going to keep trying out Dom Smith. Like, why did they? Who knows?
Why is he in the lineup?
Rosario. They're going to keep. They'll claim.
Rosario.
I mean, like on the flip side of that, who else are they going to play? Do you need to see Stuart Fairchild more?
No.
Do you need to see? Do you need to see? Do you need to see whoever else they'd call up?
I'd rather see Ty France than Dom Smith.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's who they play. Yeah. That's who they're going to play. That's who I'd rather see. Just let him go instead
I'd rather see Reese Hines back up too. I want to see him for an extended period of time just to see if he's worth anything. I don't get it. Why are you when have the Reds had success calling up or signing these guys who have been DFA'd who are big old fat first basemen? It just doesn't work for them, and yet here they are just doing it again. I don't know. Last year, their after deadline waiver wire pickups sucked. This year, it's going to be the same thing. I don't get the whole idea behind it. It's frustrating because then as soon as they sign them, they're in the starting lineup for 3 or 4 days. France actually he was playing pretty well.
Yeah.
But no, now we got this new fat guy. We got to give him some at-bats and strikes out. He's already got double-digit strikeouts for us in 4 games. It makes no sense to me, and it's just frustrating. I don't know. This season's going nowhere. You're not winning anything. Call up some young guys, some fringe-level prospects, see if you got anything with them, and let's just finish out the season for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else. I've said all I need to say about. I've said all I need to say about the Reds and their season. I mean, we just need to turn the page and move on to 2025 and see what they can screw up there.
I got 3 more games to attend. 3 more. So,
I'll tell you this. I mean, we can maybe save it for the pitcher of the week, but that Aguilar guy, he looked solid his 2 outings. He was solid. Yeah. So I'll give him that.
Well, speaking of pitchers, let's talk about the injuries. Hunter Green, good news. So the UCL is intact, cleared, but Hunter's, David Bell, when he got the news, said, yeah, we're hoping that he's back by the end of the week. Pitching and Hunter came out today and said, no, I'm not throwing until the inflammation goes down.
He's not pitching the rest of the year.
And he said that he would like to get at least 3 more starts if he could. Because he said, I think I owe it to myself and to my teammates to go out there and pitch and obviously put himself into that 2025 Cy Young talk.
I mean, when's the last time our injured Red made it even on timetable to come back?
Yeah,
but before earlier than the timetable. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Well, Friedel, but then he got injured again and went.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. He probably shouldn't have come back.
Yeah, but it was his wrist. But then his wrist was healed. But then he goes and he pulls a hamstring, and then he goes and
because he didn't play. So he pulls a hamstring. That's what happens. So
but yes.
Hunter Green.
So Hunter Green. But what I liked was he didn't call out anybody, but he just said no. What it comes down to is the only people that care about you are you, is yourself and your family. And he pretty much, he's like, I'm not calling out anybody, but that's the truth. In this world, it's just you and your family. You have to make the decision for yourself. And so he was basically telling the Reds, screw you. I'm not pitching on Friday against the Brewers. Sorry. My first game back. No.
Just have Luke Maley pitch for him. So.
Yeah, I know. And then Andrew Abbott goes on the 15-day with shoulder stiffness.
And they don't like to mess around with shoulders when it comes to pitchers. I mean, that's usually, that's a death knell at a lot of times. So for periods of time. So
So he's probably done.
Would not be, well, I was going to say he's probably done for the season also. Right. So we're going to get a lot of Buck Farmer bullpen games, and
we're going to get.
I mean, who else? They got nothing.
Richardson's coming up.
No, he's not even a starter. He's in the
that's
bullpen
right.
there. I mean, I don't know who they start. I mean, Rhett Lauder's pitching there now, but I think they're still going to be kid gloves with him. So
I don't know if he's going to come up. Let's see who's on the. Let's see. Well, Connor Phillips is back up. So I saw that Connor Phillips.
Has he made a start yet?
AAA.
Not yet.
Okay. I mean, he was so bad they sent him out of the minor leagues. He was so bad, so he's going to need some decent
Christian
starts.
Roa is another one. I don't know if he's a reliever or a starter, but so those are your two options.
So none then.
So pretty much.
They're going to look at the waiver wire, I bet. I wouldn't be surprised.
So they're on the 40-man. But all right. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up with the pitcher of the week, hitter of the week, and who in the heck should be demoted. All right. Pitcher of the week.
I already said mine. I said Aguilar. I thought he had 2 solid starts, so I'm going with him.
Either him or Nick Martinez. He took the ball today with only 3 days rest. I'll go with either one of those two guys.
I'll go with Aguilar as a rookie, first time coming up, couple solid starts.
Yep.
The only game they won against Pittsburgh was his start, so I'll go with him. Hitter of the week.
Yeah.
This is a guy who I've been calling to leave the team for a while, but I think he's been the best hitter over the last month and a half for the Reds. Doesn't play every day, but Espinal, I think he has been on. When he's in there,
he's got his average up to like 260 now.
Yeah,
Bell has played him every day this week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's playing more than Marte now.
Yeah. Well, he should.
He started in right field today.
Did he really?
He said, "I'm done with Benson and Fraley."
Well, Fraley's injured.
All right. Well, he's like, "I'm done with Benson."
And Benson shouldn't be playing. So
no.
So he had him out in right field. He had a double today. So
I think Fairchild's become the.
No.
I like that stats. He had 4 at bats this whole week.
Yeah. I didn't even look, and today I heard his name catching a fly ball. I was like, oh, he's still on the team because my boy Stu hasn't been playing at all. And
4 at bats. Benson had 10 at bats this week.
Why?
What did Espinal end up with? It felt like he played pretty much every game. 27.
He had the second most on the team. He played every day.
Yeah, he was 3 for 4 the other day, and the one time that he didn't, couldn't push the run through when we needed it the most. But it's all right.
Yeah, they had to get some good. The hitting wasn't horrible. It always shows up every other game where they score no runs or 1 run. But they had the games where they scored quite a bit of runs. So Ellie had a good week. Tyler Stevenson had a good week. So I'll go with Ellie just because craziness that he causes out there. So.
All right. Well, there you have it. We'll, like I said, we'll probably put the Reds up first. Because football season's starting, and we'll probably have a little more to say about, the success of those two teams. All right, let's go on to our trivia real quick. Crawley, you had last week's question and answers, and then Sam, you got this one. So let's keep going. So
Since
refresh our memory.
1994, 1994 pitchers have made the All-Star team while playing for the Reds, and then later on played for the Royals. Who are they? And you guys got them. It was Chapman, Cueto, Volquez, and Brownie.
That's right. Awesome. Sam, go ahead with the new one.
So we got a little college football here. Two-parter, but should be pretty quick. So basically, just first part, who are the top 10 teams with the most weeks at number 1 in the AP poll?
Bama.
Bama's 1.
Like overall, like the
overall,
history?
Yeah, most weeks. Yep. Bama is number 1 with 140 weeks.
Oklahoma.
Ohio State.
Ohio State's 2. Oklahoma's 3.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is 4.
Texas.
Texas is number 10.
What about
Michigan?
Michigan.
Michigan is not in the top 10.
How about Miami?
Miami is
Michigan's
number
not
8.
top 10 overall.
Michigan is not top 10. No,
Don't they have the most wins in college football history?
allegedly.
So Miami's number 8, you said?
Miami is number 8. Yep.
What about Florida State?
Florida State is number 6.
Florida?
Georgia.
Florida is not. Georgia is number 9.
Okay.
So you're missing number 7 and number 5.
USC?
USC is number 5.
Yeah, there you go.
And number 7. Penn
Tennessee?
State? No.
Not Penn State.
Not Tennessee.
Not Tennessee.
Wouldn't be Clemson. I wouldn't think.
We'll just say they haven't been number 1 in a while.
Army.
Not that long of a while.
Oh, okay. So it's not Florida.
Maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe like very early in my lifetime. Maybe. But not. I don't know.
Nebraska?
There you go. Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then second part, kind of same deal. There are 4 teams that have been number 1 for exactly 1 week. Who are those 4 teams?
In the history?
In the history.
Oh,
Yep. They're all
goodness.
power 4, power 5 schools, however you want to slice it.
They've been number 1 once in their life.
Once. Yep.
I don't know, somebody like Oklahoma State or maybe?
No, but I mean, that's kind of the direction. It looks like
UC.
not UC.
No.
There's one SEC.
They had their
school,
chance, but they didn't get the number
one
1.
SEC school, 2 ACC schools, although I think the one was in a different conference when they did it, and then 1 Big Ten school.
North Carolina?
North Carolina is 1.
Okay. Is it Georgia Tech?
Not Georgia Tech. Nope.
Wake Forest?
Not Wake Forest. Nope.
Boston College?
Boston College.
That's right. Boston College. Flutie.
Yep.
And then SEC.
BYU?
I was going to say BYU, but
nope. So you need an SEC and a Big Ten. SEC, I believe it was kind of late 2000s is when they were ranked number 1.
What about Wisconsin for the Big Ten?
Wisconsin's the Big Ten,
yep. And then
There's 3 of them.
SEC. Oh, was it
Mississippi
Texas
State?
A&M?
Nope. Neither one of them.
No. Ole Miss?
Not Ole Miss. Nope.
We're just going to start naming teams.
Yeah.
Give you one more guess each. They had the 2-headed running back attack at the time.
Oh, that was Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yep. There you go.
McFadden
and Felix Jones.
That's right. All right, we got to speed this up here because we're almost an hour in, and we haven't even touched the Bengals win-loss prediction. So this is our topic of the week here. We are going to just go through each week. We'll give us, we'll say we want, we have them wins or we're having them losing. And at the end, we'll give you, where we think the Bengals win-loss record will end up. So week 1 kicks off here in 2 weeks versus the Patriots at home. I've got them winning week 1. Fingers crossed. Crawley, what do you have?
I got to win.
All right. So it's a clean sweep across the board. All right. Week 2, they head into Arrowhead. Unfortunately, I got them losing to the Chiefs, even though I don't want to say that.
You don't have them 8-0 this year?
No, I don't have them 8-0 starting the year. I learned my lesson. I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. So I got them losing to the Chiefs. Sam?
I have them winning against the Chiefs, actually.
Nice.
The Chiefs are notorious slow starters as well. So I'm hoping that we can kind of catch them, and we'll be the fast starters, so we can kind of catch them.
All right. Crawley?
I have them losing.
Losing. All right. Week 3, back home in the jungle versus the Commanders. That's a victory.
Yep.
Sam?
Yeah, I have a W, yeah.
All right. Week 4, they go into Carolina versus the Panthers. I think they come out. That's a win.
Yep.
So everybody win there. Baltimore comes into town. I am going to give the Bengals the win against Baltimore in that game. So
I have them winning.
This is their first loss for me.
So you got them losing, Sam, and Crawley's got them winning.
Yep.
Then they go into the Giants. This one was tough for me because we don't play well in the Meadowlands. I mean, against the Jets, we stink it up. Even against the Giants, we don't do very well. But I think Burrow and company's rolling. I'm giving them the victory. So
yeah, me too.
I do as well. Normally, when we're playing the Meadowlands, we're not facing Danny Dimes. That helps us.
Well,
win.
that is true. That is true.
I think the Giants could end up being the worst team in the NFL. I
could be.
Really do.
I mean, he might be already demoted by then. So.
Yeah, he might be.
Well, and if that's the case, then I'll have to flip that to a loss.
Face the backup. Yeah, that might be worse.
Yeah, yes. Because Lou never puts pressure on the backup quarterbacks at all until late in the game. All right, next game. Back-to-back road games. This time in Cleveland. I don't like that matchup.
That was my easiest pick of
that's
the year.
That's an L for me.
Yep. So that's definitely an L.
So L's all across the board. So guess what's going to happen?
Yep.
They're going to win.
Well, that'd be great if they do.
Yep. Eagles come in. Eagles don't do well here in Cincinnati, and they continue that streak. Bengals win that one.
Yep, I agree.
This is my slip up for the Bengals. I have them losing this game.
You have them losing this game. Okay.
Yep. I'm not going to go undefeated at home, and this is my loss.
Okay. The Raiders come in town. Just win, baby, and that's what the Bengals do. Just win.
Stink.
Yeah.
Raiders stink.
I've got them as well.
All right. Now we move into the Thursday night game in Baltimore, and this is where the Bengals pick up, for me, their third loss. I think, the stadium just is going to be rocking on a Thursday night. It's just hard to play in Baltimore.
I have them losing to Baltimore as well.
Oh, wow. Nope. I've got to win. I think Joe Burrow, he's going to go in there on a Thursday night again. He's not going to let him lose. He's not going to. He wants revenge for getting injured on Thursday night last year.
All right. This is my slip-up game here because we got to go out west. Coming off that Thursday, I know we have a little, extra few days, but I think Jim Harbaugh, especially if the Bengals.
Our run defense isn't good.
Yes. Michigan ran the ball 60 straight times in a game against Penn State there. I got the Bengals losing. This is their slip-up game, and I hate it because I don't think Justin Herbert is better than Burrow, but I think the run game, Harbaugh's run game is just too good.
I have them losing as well. This is kind of my letdown from the high against the Ravens, and then they'll be looking ahead to the bye. And I think if I don't want to be right, but I still think the run defense is going to struggle. So I think this is going to be just a bad matchup, bad timing too for him.
All right, Crawley.
I got them beating the Chargers. They may
right.
want to run it, but they're relying on that broken down Ohio State runner and some other backup guys. They don't have what's his name anymore, so they don't even have their main running back. So
Yeah, Austin Eckler.
He may want to run, but they ain't going to be able to run. And Herbert's running on bad feet, so I'm going with the Bengals.
All right, coming off the bye, we've got Pittsburgh at home, and I think Burrow and company destroy the Steelers.
I have a win. Well. I have a Bengal win there.
Yep.
Okay. Then we go into Dallas, and I just think the Cowboys are just their defense. I think is going to give us problems. I'm giving a loss there, unfortunately.
Yeah, me as well.
I have them losing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tennessee, this was another game that I was like, I just did not, because traditionally Tennessee it's tough to play there, but
we're always playing at Tennessee too.
Yeah, I know.
When's the last time we got them at home?
It's one of those scheduling quirks.
Yep.
Former Bengal, Brian Callahan takes the reins.
Got all the Culture Club.
He's got the Culture Club. Yep. I've got us winning though, just because I just think Zach's going to have something up his sleeve that Brian's not prepared for.
I think this is an easier one than you're making it out to be. The Tennessee stinks, so the Bengals are going to win because Tennessee just stinks.
Yeah, I agree. I got the Bengals.
Okay. Then the Browns come to town. I think we revenge the earlier loss to Cleveland. Nick Chubb is probably injured again, out for the year by now. So, and if Watson is playing, he'll throw 2 picks. And
great news out of Cleveland. He's terrible. That's the best news I've heard all preseason. I hope he throws 10 interceptions in the first 3 weeks.
Yep.
So I have him beating the Browns and hopefully by about 50 in that game.
I do too.
Okay. And then the Broncos come into town with Bo Nix as the quarterback.
He'll be making his Heisman candidacy. This is a game for him. So.
That's right. So that's a victory for the Bengals.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a win there as well.
And then the last one at Pittsburgh, and this is where I have an asterisk. If we sit our starters and stuff like that, I think we lose. But I'm giving them the win because I think Pittsburgh's going to be so demoralized between.
I'm up in the air only because if Pittsburgh comes in at 8-8, they're not losing. They're getting above 500.
Well, that is true.
So,
that is true.
That's the only caveat I have there. If 500 is on the line for Pittsburgh, then we lose. If not, we win.
So what are you saying?
I'm going to say we win.
All right. So Pittsburgh does not go over 500. Crawley?
I have a Bengal win as well.
All right. So my win totals is 12 wins and 5 losses. Sam, looks like
13-4.
13-4. Whew.
1 seed.
13-4, number 1 seed. And Crawley, what do you have here?
12-5.
12-5 with me. All right. So there we go. Hopefully we are there. 12-5 should win the division. 13-4 should be the number 1 seed, but you never know. We just have to not flub up and do a Bengal thing. So,
one person's got to stay healthy.
One person has to stay healthy. You are correct. You are correct. That person's Zach Carter, right? No.
It'd be great if he actually could get on the field and play a little bit.
That
play
would
well
be nice.
A little bit.
That would be nice. Come on, Zach. I'm pulling for you. All right. We're going to be off next week because Crawl Dog is going to be out Air Force Academy visiting his son, catching a Falcons football game
against Merrimack.
Merrimack, watch out!
Tell me where that should be the trivia question. Where
Merrimack?
Is Merrimack located?
Isn't that
Maryland? I don't know.
No, I thought it was New Jersey, but it's probably not. It's probably out west somewhere. It's probably like
I don't
Never
know.
mind.
Minnesota.
When you say New Jersey, that actually sounds like it might be right.
that's what for some
but
reason
it's not right though.
No.
It is East Coast, but it's not New Jersey. It's another new state.
New Hampshire.
New York.
New Hampshire.
Wait a minute, I'm getting two different things here.
Oh.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
it looks like Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. The
Yeah,
Marinette.
it says it's outside Boston.
Okay, there we go. So we'll be off, and then we'll come back on the 8th, right after the Bengals game, or 7 o'clock Sunday night, and recap week 1 of the Bengals and see where the Bearcats fall in their first 2 games. So hopefully we can talk a lot of victories here in the next couple of episodes. So you guys got anything before we wrap it up?
Nope.
No, I'm just I was going to say we're back in FC Cincinnati. The unfortunately the Cincinnati karma curse has hit them now.
Yeah.
So hoping they can dig themselves out of the hole. I got to find some help for Lucho. And that's so just as much as Burrow is important for the Bengals, Lucho is for FC Cincinnati.
Yep. That is true. All right. So for Charlie and Sam, I'm Dave. Thank you again for listening to episode number 100. And we promise to make the next 100 better than the previous. So until 2 weeks from today, everybody, take care.
See ya.
Take care, everyone.